Hello, my name is Ya Cao. Today the subject I want to talk to you is 9 proofs of evolution debunked. On YouTube there is a rather popular channel. The channel master calls himself Rationality Rules. He makes a video called the 9 proofs of evolution affirmed. But unfortunately, it will be debunked with my video. In his video, there are many nicely done animations. His production is quite good, but unfortunately, his logic is wrong. And as you will see, that he actually admitted the mistake himself. How did we humans come from? Atheists like to use evolution to refute the existence of God. There's only 2 theories about where we came from. One, God created everything, including the humanity. Second, we came from evolution, therefore there is no need of God. Back when I was in college about 50 years ago, evolution claimed that all animals evolved from a single cell and that the first living cell was formed by random chances from non-organic substance. Let's take a look at a couple of old diagrams about the evolution species tree. They show all species evolve from the object at the tree stump. You know they are old because they are only in black and white. From the first diagram we can see the tree stump says Protists, which is not an animal. According to Wikipedia, it is an eukaryotic organism that is not an animal, plant, or fungus. And a eukaryote is any organism whose cells have a cell nucleus. That means a single cell. The second picture at the tree stump, it says Mineria, which is basically says the same type of things. So it is pretty clear what I said about the early definition of evolution is correct, that all animals evolved from a single cell and the first living cell was formed by random chances from non-organic substance. I have a video called The Death Knell of Evolution. Basically shows that the odds of getting the first living cell were impossible to form. Using the most basic knowledge of biology and probability, I encourage you to watch it. If the first cell could not be formed, the rug under the evolution is pulled. How could animals evolve? In Rationality Rules video, at the very first, he said, and let's take a listen.
A simple but necessary clarification must be made. People very often confuse abiogenesis with evolution when they shouldn't. Abiogenesis is the study of how life first emerged from non-living matter, and it's not discussed within this video. Evolution, on the other hand, is the study of biological change over time, and it is the star of this video.
Now, why did he have to say that? Because after last 50 years of advances of biology, which I have presented in my video, The Death Knell of Evolution, the atheists knew that they could no longer defend evolution, so they had to retreat by saying evolution does not discuss the origin of life. The origin of life belongs to abiogenesis. This is a perfunctory cop-out statement. The one-time Republican presidential candidate, now the Housing and Urban Development Secretary, Dr. Ben Carson, once was addressing some audience. He said,
all the time. I remember a few years back I was engaged in a debate in Hollywood with a leading atheist. This guy thinks that anybody who believes in God is a total moron. And as we got to the end of the conversation, you know, and he's denigrating anybody who could believe in creation, I said, you know what? You win. I said, because I believe I came from God, and you believe you came from a monkey, and you've convinced me you're right.
Atheists will surely refuse to admit that they came from monkey. They will say human and a monkey have the same common ancestor, which is now extinct. The saying, in fact, is worse because the so-called common ancestor is even more primitive than monkeys. For better referencing, That's called the common ancestor X. But if you have that rationality, if you have the scientific mind, it is only natural to ask the question, where did this common ancestor X come from? If you refuse to do that, you are unscientific, because the spirit of science is to get to the bottom of things. Let's think about another question. We pick any other animal, let's say a horse. Did horse and X have a common ancestor? There are two possibilities. One, yes, they have a common ancestor. Or two, they don't have a common ancestor. Then you will have the conclusion that either we go back to the old evolution definition I stated before, that all animals evolved from a single living cell, or evolution started from many ancestors. Then immediately you need to ask the question that where did these ancestors come from? If evolution was from the first living cell, my video shows that the first living cell could not be formed. The foundation of evolution was pulled, evolution crumbles. If there are many ancestors, they were surely more complicated than the single cell. How in the world they could form? Where were they come from? Therefore, they must be created by God. If God created ancestors and provided them the ability to evolve, what good is evolution if it cannot refute God's existence? How come the atheists keep talking about it? If evolution is true, the atheists ought to show abiogenesis can form the first cell or form the many ancestors of evolution from nothing. The fact they separate abiogenesis and evolution simply prove they cannot do that. And abiogenesis can't show the origin of life without God. Otherwise, there's no need to separate them. The guy calls himself Rationality Rules. What a joke! He doesn't even understand that. So he is hardly any rationality rules, and his video is completely debunked. Why does he claiming evolution is affirmed even though it is debunked? Because he and many atheists cannot stand the prospect that God exists. Therefore, they suppress the truth like an ostrich, bury the head in the sand. Even worse, their wicked intent is to expand the atheism religion to fool more unlearned and ignorant people. As for this so-called 9 proofs, let's just take 2 of them to see how stupid the so-called proofs are. First, by the similarity of animal skeleton structure or the anatomy. Second, the similarity of animal DNA. These can be simply refuted as proofs. If you look at the printed circuit boards of iPhone and the Samsung phone, you can see many common parts on both boards. In fact, in some of the phones, both companies use the same mobile CPU made by Samsung. It would be absurd to conclude that Samsung phone is evolved from iPhone by looking at the similarity of the structure of the printed circuit boards. They are similar because both companies use many the common parts. When God created animals, He simply used common parts which are working for all of them. It would not be sufficient just watching some computer-generated animations. No matter how nicely they are made, don't make them true. Just like you go to watch a sci-fi movie, you know it is fake. If you think Trump has evolved to Hillary, you are a fool. What about the similarity of DNAs? We know DNA is the code governs the operations of all organs in an animal. Let's again use electronics as an example. We know all these devices all licensed the Android operating system from Google. The code in the devices governs the operation of these devices just like DNA for the animals. Because they are all using the Android operating system, their code is very similar to a different percentage. All these devices are manufactured by different companies. Each is independent of others. Just because their internal code is similar doesn't mean they are evolved from each other. That is very easy to understand. They are similar because they licensed the operating system from a single source. The DNAs of living things are similar because they were all created by the same creator, God. We can surely see that his video is completely debunked. I'm sorry to say that the guy lacks rationality. He does not live up to the name he picked. He is completely not Rationality Rules. This is the second video I made to debunk him. I have already issued a challenge to him to debunk my videos, and I'm still waiting for him to do that. His videos are full of holes. I will make more videos to debunk his so-called debunked videos. I can tell you that it is a lot of fun doing that. It is such a delight to point out falsehood, and it is so interesting to expose ignorance. Please stay tuned for more videos. I have a playlist, Provide Evidence of the Existence of God. I have provided the URLs below in the video description. Hope they will provide some help to you in search for the truth. Thank you for watching, and may God richly bless you.